Brown agenda. The Brown agenda involves the most immediate and critical environmental problems facing lower income households in most urban cities, such as lack of safe water supply, sanitation and drainage, inadequate solid and hazardous waste management, and air pollution, including uncontrolled emission from motor vehicles, factories, and low grade domestic fuels. Incidents linked to congestion and overcrowding and land degradation, all of which are closely linked to poverty environment. For example, in 1995, one fifth of the urban poor in the third world did not have access to safe drinking water. Brown agenda. Immediate urban environmental issues, water and sanitation challenges, inadequate waste management, air pollution and emissions, congestion and accidents. What is solid waste? Solid waste is the unwanted or useless solid material generated from human activities in residential, industrial, or commercial areas. It may be categorized in three ways according to its first origin. Solid waste is categorized based on its sources such as domestic, industrial, commercial, construction, or institutional contents. Classification by contents consider the material within the waste, including organic matter, glass, metal, plastic, paper, and more, which informs recycling and disposal methods. Hazard potential. This categorization assesses the waste potential harm, whether it's toxic, flammable, radioactive, or non toxic, guiding safe handling and disposal practices. Types of solid waste. It can be classified into different types depending on their source. First, municipal solid waste. It includes household waste, construction debris, sanitation residue, and street waste from industrial and commercial areas. Second, industrial solid waste. In a majority of cases, it is termed as hazardous waste as they may contain toxic substances, are corrosive, highly flammable, or react when exposed to certain things, example gases. Third, biomedical waste or hospital waste. Biomedical waste is infectious and may contain sharp, solid material, disposables, chemical, and more, often in the form of bandages and body fluids. Sources of human exposures. The population in places without suitable solid waste disposal methods, particularly preschoolers and garbage employees, is at danger from the improper disposal of solid waste. Personnel working in facilities manufacturing hazardous and contagious material. Other high-risk population include individuals who live close to landfills and those whose water supplies have been affected as a result of landfill leaks or garbage dumping. The danger of illness and harm is also increased by the uncontrolled solid waste. Contact points with living things. Solid waste may come into touch with living things in a variety of ways, including storage, biodegradation, fresh air, leaching, animals such as flies, birds, and insects, direct disposal of untreated garbage in waterways. Impacts of solid waste on humans. The environment and human health might be endangered by the inappropriate treatment of solid waste. Workers in this profession are at most risk for direct health danger, hence, it is important to prevent them from contact with wastes as much as possible. Additionally, processing waste from clinics and hospitals has particular concern, a problem that demonstrates the connection between municipal solid waste and liquid industrial effluents containing heavy metals discharged to drainage or open dumping sites of municipal solid waste. This maintains a vicious cycle, includes the danger of concentration of heavy metals in the food chain. These are few other issues categorized: chemical poisoning, low birth weight, cancer, neurological diseases, nausea and vomiting, mercury toxicity. Uncontrolled waste can obstruct the water storm runoff, which results in flood.
Waste. 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste is generated annually in the world. That's equal to the total number of all the known galaxies. India has a population of 1.25 billion and produces municipal solid waste of about 150,000 tons per day. How does this affect us? Improper waste management costs society 10 times more in healthcare, losing productivity. So what do? We investigate. Earth One has developed a customizable 5-step solution for sustainable solid waste management. Step 1. We set project boundaries. We begin with understanding the demography. Then, we evaluate and map the waste generation sources and classify the area. For example, into high-density regions, medium-density regions, and low-density regions. Step 2. We follow a statistical method. We create Geographical Information System or GIS maps to understand the dynamics of the area. Then, we determine a sample size for the waste to ensure a statistically accurate representation. After this, we prepare a waste characterization manual. Step 3. We analyze and characterize waste. The collected samples are screened using rotary trommels to classify the waste based on their particle size. The screened waste is then manually sorted into 27 categories to determine the detailed physical composition. A chemical analysis will reveal the elemental composition of the waste. Stability and elution tests will help in determining the greenhouse gas potential and leachate properties of the waste. The waste characterization study leaves us with a lot of data. So what next? Step 4. We analyze the data. Our dynamic software tool helps in designing an efficient collection system for the area. We then estimate the cost, fuel consumption, manpower needed, and vehicle requirement among many other parameters. Different collection scenarios and future predictions are also made. Step 5. We design a treatment plant. Appropriate solutions such as composting, anaerobic digestion, mechanical biological treatment, and thermal treatment are evaluated. Detailed mass balance diagrams help in determining the cost, electricity, water, and other infrastructure requirements for the treatment plant. The plant is then designed. A waste characterization study ensures a long-lasting solution for solid waste management and ensures functionality of treatment plants for a long period of time. A safer Earth is a better future.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, ma'am, as you know about the Brown Green Agenda topic, so, ma'am, our first question. As we know, Brown Agenda involves the most immediate and critical environment problem faced by the humans. So, ma'am, according to you, how does solid waste correlate with the Brown Agenda? What according to you?
It is very much correlated with the Brown Agenda because the problem is right now we are facing in urban areas specifically is majorly two things: pollution and solid waste. If you go around Delhi, you will find heaps of solid waste. Earlier it was called as Dhalao. You must have heard about this. They used to
yes,
make the enclosure and keep on stacking the solid waste over there. And there was no proper management to that waste. But there was solid, liquid, everything was there. Biodegradable, everything was there in that particular waste. Animals used to go there, rat pickers used to go there, and they used to actually had a direct contact with that. And that caused a number of problems with respect to their health and with the health of the overall urban area and precinct. So, as we were discussing earlier as well, Brown Agenda is the most important thing because we need to clear all the issues right now. Otherwise, there will be no future, as conveyed by you also. So, first we need to clear what is bad today, then we can focus on the next things.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. The next question. What according to you can be the necessary actions that we as citizens of the society should take in order to improve the current scenario or the improvement of the lifestyle?
That's a very important question because you must have heard about many policy and regulations that are actually government has taken. But they all failed because of us only.
Yes,
because we are not a participants. There are a number of community programs also they encouraged us to participate in, but we were not. So you should actually go and see the project of Indore. You must have heard that Indore has become the cleanest city of the country for the 6th time,
Yes.
right? And the citizens are so responsible over there. I'll tell you one of the instances over there. What happened? I was also on the roads of Indore. We were doing some project over there, and a boy was riding on his bike, and a person was eating some packet of chips or lace, something like that. And he finished it, and he, by mistake or intentionally, he just threw that on road. What happened? A person who was riding after him, he stopped. He didn't actually say anything to that particular person. He just got down from his bike, put that particular that wrapper, and just kept that in his bag because there was no dustbin over there. So that is the responsibility at the level of the people of Indore, and so as in the many cities of our country. But what is happening that over here we are not even separating the solid and biodegradable and the plastic waste. We are keeping that today as well in the same dustbin, and the people used to collect and just dump it. No vermicomposting is done. No, in my case also I'll tell you. In my society, we tried to organize a camp where we can actually just have the separation of solid and plastic and biodegradable. But many of our educated neighbors, they retaliated that we do not want to that because we will not have expenditure on extra polythene bag for keeping the solid waste, biodegradable and the plastic waste. So unless and until we as community or people participate in that, nothing will happen. So it should be at the grassroots level from you.
So we should, I mean, we as the human beings.
So we can start it with our classrooms as well, because our classroom should be clean and there should be proper separation of the waste. We keep on throwing the same thing in any of the dustbins, right? So we should start from our own college.
Yes, very well said. Ma'am, the last question. Focus on brown agenda and green agenda as separate topics, or should we consider it as like two wheels in a cycle which should work together, otherwise both would fail?
Two wheels in a cycle. And the perfect example for that will be, you must have heard about Intersect Park, right?
That's right.
So that was a case where all the solid waste, that was a dump yard basically for the solid waste, and it was converted into a beautiful park. And an example, and that actually is an example for many of those type of dump yard site, and people are doing that, right? So one example that we said is for the future, and if we keep the future and present together, then our practices will be more sustainable. Like
so it's hand to hand thing, one should go after
another. But then too, I will, like we were discussing, brown agenda is more critical to us right now, because what we need to have, the pressing issues, we need to actually settle down with them first and then parallelly look into the future.
That's very good. Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Any more question, Prashasti?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.